Now it's a problem. Now it's racist. Now you're anti-black.
You are anti-black. You are a raccoon. You are Uncle Ruckus or Uncle Tom tap dancing MAGA meat rider. Absolutely. So the raccoon Cartier family are really some anti-black MAGA brainwashed Nick Fuentes meat riders.
The stats back it up. 2/3 of black men don't have a dad. That group of people will be the most criminals.
Since making videos supporting Trump are extremely unpopular at this point, they've just pivoted back to black fatigue videos and bashing black people every chance they get while hiding behind this fake accountability angle.
So it's just a never-ending cycle, and I don't think there's anything we can do about it. The only thing that can do to happen is Jesus Christ can save the black people in the black community. That's the only thing. It's going to take a higher power.
But let's be real, they have no interest in having real discourse about the black community. They're just repeating whatever racist talking points they think their audience wants to hear while co-signing every racist thing Nick Fuentes says.
We're being accosted by black men. Young, adolescent black men with black skin, with big noses, African Americans.
And they ignore any data or information that contradicts their anti-black narrative while spewing ignorance with their full chest.
That group of people will be the most violent every time.
Yeah, the basis of what he's saying is like he's just tired of this negative behavior. Common denominator is that there are black people.
But I'm Jude. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
I said I'm getting really sick and tired of white people and black people blaming everything other than black people. People like Jason Whitlock say the problem with young white.
Jason Whitlock is the example that he's using. Jason Whitlock is anti-black as Nick Fuentes is. He's not part of the black community for real. He ain't with us. He ain't even invited to the cookout.
And young black men, these black adolescents, they say the problem with them is the culture. It's the rap music made them this way. How many times are we going to hear this one? The glorification of gangster culture made them this way. Rap music made them this way. Tupac made them this way.
What way is that?
The media made them this way. Jews made them that. People blame the Jews now. Always excuses.
My issue with Nick Fuentes, the Cartier family, Anton Daniels, they hyper-focus on the black community, specifically on certain negative portions of the black community. They hyper-focus on the issues that portion has without acknowledging the rest of the black community that have bachelor's and master's degrees, that are doctors, lawyers, teachers, firefighters, tax-paying citizens that own homes, that put their kids through school and through college. So if you just listen to these people talk, you would think the black community is menace to society or New Jack City right now. And that's just not the case. Every culture has their own problems, commit crimes and all of that, but they only talk about the black community, which is a continuation of anti-black propaganda that we've been seeing since this country was founded. And black goofballs like Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbest don't help.
But for all those people that say we want to take race out of the conversation, we just simply can't, because the common denominator is race. We are not being accosted in downtown Chicago by people who are bad Christians. We're not being accosted downtown by people who listen to rap music. We're not accosted downtown by people that worship gangster culture.
These generalizations are so funny. These white supremacists and racists throw out these general statements without any sources, without talking about any specific incident, and people just take it at face value. But what I've never done is acted like the black community doesn't have its problems, right? I think Chicago is top 20, one of the most dangerous cities in America. So of course there's violence there. I don't know if it's white people being accosted downtown like Nick is trying to portray, but his general statement makes it seem like there's mass black on white violence going on around the country, and that's just not the case.
If you believe that people of color are inherently more violent than white people, you're an idiot or you've been propagandized. I've got people in my comments sections arguing that the reason the homicide rates in these red states are so high is because of all the black people in the Democrat cities within those states. It's garbage. We're putting it to bed right now. I've got FBI homicide rate data. I've got U.S. Census Bureau data. I've got the 5 cities with the highest percentage of their population who self-identifies as black. So according to these people in my comments section, they should have the 5 highest murder rates in the country, right? Number 1 is South Fulton, Georgia, where 90.6% of the population self-identifies as black. Their murder rate, below the national average. You know what else is below the national average? Their poverty rate. I'm sure that's a correlation that won't persist throughout this entire thing and around the world. Number 2, Jackson, Mississippi, 82% self-identify as black. Murder rate is near the top. You know what else is near the top? Their poverty rate. That's 2.63 times higher than the national average and is the 8th highest in the country. Number 3, East Orange, New Jersey, 79.1% self-identify as black. Should have the 3rd highest murder rate in the country, right? It's not in the top 200. It is above the national average, just like their poverty rate.
We're being accosted by black men. young adolescent black men with black skin, with big noses, African Americans. They're not even that.
This is why they're raccoons. This is why they're Uncle Ruckus is right there. A white dude or Mexican, whatever white supremacist Nick Fuentes says he is, makes a racist, stereotypical joke about black people's appearance, about black men's appearance. And these two dweebs laugh at it like it's the funniest thing ever. These dudes are clowns. They're anti-black, and they have a white, right-leaning audience watching them, laughing at a white person telling a black joke.
When you look at some of the biggest nerds in rap culture, it's Asians. It's Asian music producers. When's the last time you seen an Asian gang?
Department of Justice, January 15, 2026. Asian boys gang member convicted of conspiring to distribute methamphetamine. This is them right there. What are we talking about here? There are white gangs, there are Asian gangs, there are Latino gangs. But the focus from this white supremacist is on black people. We're 3 minutes into this video and these dudes haven't said a peep yet.
Take over downtown Chicago, mug people on the subway, carjack people. You just don't see it. You see black people, not people that listen to rap music. It just so happens that black people do. For all the people that blame it on the culture, hey, guess who made black culture? Black people. Black people are being made to do these things by black culture.
There's a very clear and probably intentional misunderstanding of what black culture is. Black culture isn't just rap music. Black culture is also the black church in America. It's the food we eat. It's the music we listen to outside of rap. R&B, soul, jazz, all of those things that make up these music genres. It's family gatherings, cookouts, dances, the way we dress, the way we take care of each other. Black culture is the way we style our hair, the haircuts we have. There's so many amazing things that make up black culture that are unique only to black Americans, that are just filled to the brim with wholesomeness and creativity.
Black spirituality and worship in the black church has been a central and vital institution in black American life, acting as a hub for community, social justice, and spiritual support. Soul food, which can be traced back to the culinary practices of enslaved Africans in the American South, blending African traditions with European techniques, inspiration from the natives, and ingredients and cooking methods available during slavery. It's unique to black Americans. Our value systems are family and community. We have collectivistic values, placing a strong emphasis on family closeness, community bonding, and solidarity is a core value in art, which is the most exported and consumed and marketed part of our culture. From the Harlem Renaissance to today, Black Americans have made immense contributions to the arts, visual art, our dances, our music, which have been consumed globally for the last century.
All of that is black culture, and it's all outside of the negativity that he's focusing on.
Wow. What is one thing that's different with black people than every other race? Fathers in the home. And there is a direct correlation to criminals and fathers in the home. So if you do take race out of it and look, hey, we got a group of people here who have no fathers in the home, that group of people will be the most criminals.
On paper, like 45 to 65% of black households don't have fathers in the home. That does not make them fatherless. What's baked into that number, what counts as a fatherless home, is anybody that has a shared schedule with the person that they have kids with. Maybe they have their kids primarily every other week or X amount of days out of every single week. That doesn't mean they're in fatherless homes. That means they have a different parenting setup than what's attributed to those numbers. And what they won't say, because it doesn't fit their anti-black narrative, is black dads are far more involved with their kids' activities than any other race by a large margin. Black dads more involved in activities with their children than other groups. According to the CDC, black fathers were most likely to have been involved in activities with their children compared to white and Hispanic fathers. According to U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, black fathers, 70% who live with their children, were most likely to have bathed, dressed, changed, or helped their child with the toilet every day compared with their white or Hispanic counterparts. Black fathers, 78%, who also were most likely to eat meals with their children every day compared with white and Hispanic fathers. A higher percentage of black fathers, 27%, took their children to or from activities every day compared with white fathers. Black fathers in the home were also more likely to help their children with homework every day compared to Hispanic fathers.
That group of people will be the most criminals, the most violent every time.
Yeah. That's a great assessment. I think the basis of what he's saying is like he's just tired of this negative behavior being constantly excused and blamed on other things when the common denominator is that there are black people especially young black men choosing to live this way. They're choosing to do these things. They're choosing to commit these crimes.
Right, what he says accurate. This is always the most sensible one out of these three. Anybody in the streets living that life is making a decision to live that way. But Nick Fuentes isn't making a distinction. He's generalizing black people as criminals.
Stems from a lack of male leadership, a lack of positive male role model, a lack of a father. Sure, 100%.
In addition to a lack of resources in the community, a lack of options when you come from an underprivileged background.
And yeah, I mean, it can't be excused for much longer because at some point we as black people have to do something about it.
And I also
it hurts us first. It hurts
does.
black people first before it hurts everybody else.
a lot of the black people that do have dads, their dads are also behaving the way that they're behaving.
The generalizations are crazy. These are complete black white supremacists. So counter to everything I just said about black dads being positive, active, and in the home, they're saying the black people that do have dads, their dads are bad role models and bad examples for the kids, and they're in the street too. Come on, man.
So if they are there, they're a bad role model a lot of the time.
false.
So it's just a never-ending cycle, and I don't think there's anything we can do about it. The only thing that can do to happen is Jesus Christ can save the black people in the black community. That's the only thing. It's going to take a higher power.
What the black community needs, especially those underprivileged areas, is more resources, more attention paid to them, better schools, better programs, better after-school programs and activities, options for breakfast and school lunch if they don't have it, maybe more grants to fund tutors, or more scholarships for kids coming from underprivileged backgrounds and areas. There are a million things that can be done to improve the circumstances of people living in bad areas. But he's just saying, leave it to God. Black people are always going to be like that. Man, shut up.
Look at the 1350 stat. That's not even the stat. It's really 650 because none of the women are running around murdering. They're just having babies by the murderers. So, I mean, that sounded bad, but I mean, if we're just keeping it real, if 6% of the population is committing over 50% of all the murders in this country, well then, I mean, are we gonna draw the line?
These are false and skewed stats. We already know that. Like Officer Tatum being called out for the same bullshit.
Whites are more likely to commit crimes against children. Whites are more likely to commit crimes against co-workers. Whites are more likely to commit crimes against individuals who are inside of their families. Now, that is also from FBI.gov, but are you using that as a pretext? Are you using that as a pretext to follow all white people and think that they are child molesters or about to commit a crime against
You're trying to, the FBI statistics are on conviction rates. The FBI homicide statistics.
No, it is not, brother. You need damn
people
stats.
can go out and do the research.
Not based on conviction rates,
People can go out and do the research for themselves.
They sure
the
can.
research that I've seen, the homicide rates, you could call it the murder or homicide rates, depending on how you want to frame it, are convictions. So
No, they're not.
Nick Fuentes gets more backlash for saying mean things that he says than black people do for murdering each other in the street.
That's false. The whole entire world has bought into the anti-black propaganda to see all black people as violent criminals. We get nothing but backlash. Even when we accomplish great things, the world tries to knock us down a peg. To say he gets more backlash for talking about black people to his white racist audience than black people get around this world is insane.
I find it interesting that, like, when you begin to call out these behaviors and criticize them, they say, oh, you're just criticizing black people. You're talking bad about black people, as if this behavior deserves to be excused. But
they say them as if they're not black. These are like the weirdest Freudian slips. They talk about black people like they are other, like they are completely detached from the black community. And maybe they are at this point. It's just so weird.
Because of my skin color, I'm sick of this shit. I don't like it. I'm gonna get on here and say I'm sick of it and I don't like it. I don't give a fuck who doesn't like what I have to say. At what point is it socially acceptable among black people to say that this is wrong, this is bullshit, this needs to end? Because people want to get offended when other races of people start to say that.
Black people have been calling out the bad aspects in the black community. We always have. We have always been trying to better our own circumstances, better our family circumstances, and better our community as a whole. These goofballs just speak in generalizations without addressing anything specifically or any area or any incident or something that happened in real life, which makes everything they're saying disingenuous, just like Nick Fuentes. He's just race baiting, and so are they.
Now it's a problem. Now it's racist. Now you're anti-black.
You are anti-black. You are a raccoon. You are Uncle Ruckus or Uncle Tom tap dancing MAGA meat rider. Absolutely. So?
The problem remains, and the truth of the matter is all of the things that are being said are valid and truthful.
Everything that's being said is generalized without any context or nuance to the conversation.
The stats back it up. 2/3 of black men don't have a dad. 6% of the American population.
Again, 2/3 of black men don't have a dad is incorrect. What he's baking into that 2/3 number is them not living primarily in the household or having a separate custody schedule when they are the single father and have their kids on a different schedule than the mother has their kids. That doesn't mean black fathers have abandoned their kids. They just have them on a different schedule, which isn't acknowledged in those statistics. Again, no nuance or context.
Murders is responsible for 50% of the murders.
But can you tell me why?
So let's go to the 2019 crime statistics from the FBI, which is what everybody uses, what they're always talking about whenever they say these numbers. According to this, black people were charged with 4,000 murders. White people were charged with 3,650 murders. I'm not defending crime or black crime at that, but tell both sides of the statistics, which they don't want to do. If black people committed 4,000 murders, white people committed 3,650 murders. But what they try to do, what they always do, is make it a per capita argument, because that's all they have. And what they won't talk about are the other crimes where black people aren't leading the category. When it comes to grapes, 11,500 grapes committed by white people, as opposed to 4,000 for black people, which would mean white people lead that category by 69%. What about aggravated assaults? 169,000 compared to 91,000. Again, 61% to 33%. Or burglaries, 81,000 to 34,000. Larceny, 393,000 to 178,000. 38,000 to 16,000. Arson, 4,400 to 1,500. Violent crime in general, 209,000 to 123,000. Do black people lead in some categories like murder or manslaughter for offenses charged? Absolutely, yes, and that needs to change, especially for us being a smaller part of the population. However, do not ignore all the rest of the stats that are led by white people, which makes all of this conversation cherry-picked and disingenuous.
The rest of white people, I decided to choose violence this morning. You see, I stitched a video yesterday where a man claimed that black people, making up 13% of the population, actually make up half of the problems in America. I pointed out a few things like serial killers, child rapists, and mass shootings, and never got a response, which isn't very surprising. But I also figured I would go ahead and throw this out there. Here are the number of arrests from the FBI's website based on demographic. White people, if you're talking about this and you're claiming that black people are the problem, you need to shut the fuck up.
This is why you can't trust anything you see from conservatives. The End Wokeness Twitter account claimed that this graph shows that everything that the media has been telling you about interracial crime is a lie, showing that black-on-white crime is the highest. Turns out, using that exact same source, that just isn't true. In fact, white-on-white violence is the highest. And if you look at the End Wokeness graph, conveniently, none of these bars are white-on-white crime. I wonder why that is. They do it because they want to make it seem like there's some kind of epidemic of black people killing white people. And for those who say, well, this one is per capita and this one isn't, well, I did the math for you. Not only does white-on-white crime eclipse black-on-white crime dwarfs black-on-white crime. And if we look at the same data that End Wokeness graph uses, we can see that the offenders on white crime are 62% of the time white, and only 15% of the time black. That's why you always need to check when someone presents data, especially with conservatives, because they're just trying to push their own agenda.
What do you mean,
Because there's no, that's why.
They're thugging, because they're criminals, because they're bird brain idiots.
But what Nick is saying here is a bombshell to me, because I used to blame the main problem and the main thing that I think why black people act the way they act is because of music and the entertainment space.
These dudes are so dumb. There are so many reasons that crime is high in the black community. And it's not because rap, even if rap does play a part. People will rob somebody. If you're broke, starving in a bad neighborhood, your family doesn't have any money at home, then most likely you will commit a crime to get the money or the food that you want. That's why poverty and crime usually goes hand in hand.
It's the dads, bro. It's the dads. That is 100%. It starts in the home. You can't expect the government to raise your kids. You can't expect school systems and better after-school programs like Brandon Johnson says. It starts in the home.
It absolutely does start in the home. And the government should provide resources to underprivileged communities. Two things can absolutely be true.
If you are not trained in the home, then you will not, then it's over with.
At this point, this really kind of messed me up, because if you really think about that, we have been giving black people an excuse by saying it's the music, it's the culture.
I've never heard a black person blame crime or bad areas in our community on music. That's such a weird white person excuse I've never even heard a black person make. These dudes are so whitewashed.
All these different things when we created that.
Pull up a stat.
We can't blame another group of people like white people or Jews
We can't.
Because we can blame discrimination, we can blame historical racism, and we can be accountable for ourselves to say we need to do better as a community. But that does not negate how ghettos got created in the black community to start with. That does not negate who initially brought drugs into the black community. Initially, it was the Italian mafia that brought heroin into the black community. Then we all know the CIA bullshit with bringing coke into the black community in the 80s. So you can't act like all of these factors don't exist as to how we got where we are as people and what we had to persevere through.
Whatever people, the perception of any race of people,
It's controlled by that people.
Yeah, I mean, like,
that's false. The perception of black people around the world is not controlled by black people. It has historically been controlled by the media. This is going all the way back to the birth of America, which showed a racist, violent, criminal depiction of black people, all the way through minstrel shows and how black people were depicted as dumb or greedy or ignorant or criminal, to what the modern day media has pushed around the world of black people, of just gang violence in hoods. Like everywhere, every neighborhood is boys in the hood. That does exist, but that's not everybody in the black community. The media has controlled the narrative on black people going back to the founding of this country.
You know, it's interesting because a lot of this stuff is defended as black culture, and it's like this is just a very negative aspect that's just defended. Because do I think that this is whole?
Thank you. It's an aspect of black culture. It's not all of black culture.
Do I think that this is a subset of black culture that is wholly defended and allowed and permitted amongst black people? Absolutely yes.
And to add on, every single race and culture has negative aspects of their race or culture. Latinos, white people, Asians, Africans, anybody. But again, it's only black people that are highlighted here and made out as a singular problem to America.
I asked Grok, black men are 6% of the population. Are they really responsible for over 50% of all murders? Yes, according to consistent FBI uniform crime reporting, data on known murder offenders, black Americans, 14% of the population, have accounted to 50 to 56%.
And that's going to be the only crime that they ask about or talk about. We already talked about that, which is bad. It needs to change, but it's also skewed and it doesn't take into effect any other culture or race or their percentages or contributions to those numbers.
But it's men.
Why is it though?
Men do it.
But
So
why? Is it because of
hold on. Now let's
white
ask
supremacy?
it. No, it's because they don't have dads. Now let's look this up.
So every person that commits a crime in America doesn't have a dad, or they just saying black people don't have dads, which again is a super whitewashed, anti-black, white supremacist take.
High single parenthood cities have 118% higher violent crime rates and 255% higher homicide rates than low single parenthood cities.
Right, higher poverty rates, higher crime rates. They could also have looked that up.
That proves it 100%. That is what it is.
This is for every 1% increase in out of wedlock births, future murder rates increase by 5%. That's fucking insane.
That's what it is.
It says boys raised without a father significantly face higher odds of incarceration, behavioral issues, school dropout, and violent offending.
And that's across the board. That's not just black people.
That's 100% what it is.
Wow. Well, I think that's all we need to see right there. Mic dropped.
Anybody that doesn't have a father in the household is more likely to commit crimes. It's not just the black thing. Again, they're not going to talk about anybody else but black people.
72% of teenage murderers grew up without a father.
So let's just do a little digging into these numbers because we know they're not going to. Known juvenile homicide offenders by race from 1980 to 2020. Offending by juveniles. The number of known juvenile murder offenders in 2020 was well below the mid-1990s peak from white and black youth. 2018, 398 to 658. 2019, 370 to 560. 2020, 494 to 807. Are black people the only ones out here committing murders? No. Are we the only ones out here without fathers in the household? No. They don't give the other side of the story or dig any deeper into the stats that they use to prove a point about black criminality. But let's not act like the black community is the only community with problems or with criminals.
70% of all long-term prison inmates come from fatherless homes.
70% of juveniles.
No dad for a male equals murderer.
No dad for a male across the board, no matter race or culture, there's a higher chance of criminality, yes.
Pull up another race of people that, because not everybody has their father. in another
But black
race.
people, everyone knows black people the most.
Everyone knows black people the most. That is some Uncle Ruckus shit, bruh.
That's why they have the most
If
crime.
we did white people,
Let's go.
do you
Okay,
think
let's
that
see.
they
Let's
will
see.
have the same rate of incarceration.
Before they even look up any more BS, we all know that black neighborhoods are over-policed and under-resourced, which means that black people are more likely to be arrested for anything over any other race, simply because of over-policing. That doesn't even account for the percentage of black people that are falsely accused of crimes or the high exoneration rate that are convicted of crimes that they didn't commit. 58% of the people that have been exonerated by the Innocence Project have been black. 52% of the people exonerated since 1989 have been black. 75% of the people that were exonerated after a guilty plea were black and brown. Race and wrongful conviction, nearly 60% of the people that the Innocence Project has helped free or exonerate since 1992 are black.
It says white prisoners often show lower rates of father absence than black offenders, but still substantially higher than the general white population. So they do still come from fatherless homes.
They still more likely do. But
Often 50 to 70% of white state prisoners report not living with both biological parents or coming from disrupted families.
So make that a general argument about fathers not being in the households, coming from poverty-stricken areas and committing crimes. Not a black problem, because clearly it's a general problem across the board.
There you have it.
So that's the problem.
There you have it.
the problem.
And people in general.
And I think dads.
They almost got it. They almost got it. Yeah, people in general. So stop generalizing black people. The Cartier family sucks. They really do. They tried to make a whole argument about black people are the problem because we don't have fathers in the household. Just to find out near the end of their video that crime, poverty, and fatherless household correlations isn't a black thing. It's across the board. If you're black and you're talking about problems in the black community, then do it earnestly and honestly. Really look at stats on both sides, on all sides. Have an honest conversation. Don't just make it a black thing, because crime is not just a black thing. And any of these conversations require nuance. For the platform that they have to be spewing the anti-black propaganda that they do, to be regurgitating and hyping up that white supremacist, all black people bad narrative from Nick Fuentes, they should be ashamed of themselves. But what else do we expect from the sellout, tap dancing, Uncle Ruckus, raccoon Cartier family? Shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting, and thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.